to Job Search Essentials, the resume. I'm Kathy Szabo, Lake Michigan College's Career Development Coordinator. So what is a resume? Well, I'm sure you're probably thinking it's a list of my education, work experience, my skills, honors, maybe some volunteer activities, and it is all that. But it's not a laundry list of these things. It's a marketing tool, and it's a marketing tool that sells you to the employer, telling them what you can do and what problems you solve. Think of it as a commercial, meaning it's short and to the point. It's not a documentary. It's the first impression an employer has of you. So make it a good one. And guess what? Its purpose is not to get you the job. It's to get you the interview. The interview is what gets you the job. But that's another workshop. So let's get into it. Did you know that 39% of hiring managers spend less than a minute reading a resume? And 23% spend under 30 seconds. Can you imagine? When you get a ton of resumes in, you don't have time to read every little word. So, how do you make yours stand out? How do you make sure the employer reads yours? Well, first, include a thoughtful and direct objective or summary statement. This is important because it clearly tells the reader who you are and what you want. Let's look at this one. Second year, multilingual college student with a drive for success. Great first sentence. It tells me who she is, and it tells me something that differentiates her from everyone else. Experience in marketing, customer service, clerical work, and hospitality. Without reading the whole resume, I already know her experience. Business-minded, efficient, hardworking, and collaborative individual. Wow, I now have a real idea of her skills and personality. Seeking to build experience in the fields of marketing and entrepreneurship. And now I know what type of job she's looking for. As an employer, I can read this one part of the resume and know if I want to continue reading on. I can decide here and there, right here, whether or not she's a potential candidate to come in for an interview, right? I may not know 100%, but I can make that judgment call just by looking at this part of the resume. Here are two more examples for us to look at. Natural leader and mental health advocate. Hardworking, enthusiastic, and goal-driven individual with experience in leadership roles, seeking to build experience in counseling. Again, I know who this person is, and I know what he wants. He wants to get some experience in counseling. Last one. Seeking a prominent role in construction management where I can apply my strong leadership, strategic planning, and project coordination skills to foster an efficient and productive work environment. Bam! This one starts with what he wants. And then it tells me who he is, why he wants that. Both of these clearly give the reader a strong impression. And again, they can quickly determine whether to continue reading the resume or not. The reader, the employer, can make a determination. Is this someone I want to consider for this job? That's why this personal profile, objective, summary statement, whatever you want to call it, is so important. So how else can you make your resume stand out? Use action. Tell them what you did. Make it on par. Par meaning problem or project, A for action, what you did, and finally, the result. Now I know these type of sentences are not always easy to write. We tend to think of those bullet points of our responsibilities and we list what we did. We don't say why we did it or the result that we got. But there is a process we can use to make it easier. First, determine what the project or problem was. This is highlighted in green. To streamline stocking procedures and ensure optimal product placement on the sales floor. That was the project or problem. Then, what was the action? That's highlighted in blue. By collaborating with teammates. And finally, the result highlighted in yellow. Contribute to efficient inventory management by collaborating with teammates to streamline stocking procedures and ensure optimal product placement on the sales floor. Now, we could actually say the project was efficient inventory management. The action is still collaborating with teammates, and the outcome or the result was an optimal product placement on the sales floor. Both are okay, right? Sometimes we can think of the result, because sometimes the result is what we're asked to do, so that's the project. And then we call the project actually something else, the result that we said we actually got from it. So sometimes the result and the project can be a little confusing and they can be intertwined, but you want to make sure that you have both. So many times I see resumes that have an action and the project, but not necessarily the actual result. And I chose to say that the first part here, efficient inventory management, because that really was the result. They got efficient inventory management by streamlining stocking procedures and ensuring optimal product placement on the sales floor. It's half a dozen of one or the other. But now how can you make this easy, right? Well, you can use a chart like this. This helps you organize your thought. Once you complete the chart, then you put it all together. So first you want to list, many times we think, that's why number one is there, of the action we did. What did I do? Then decide, well, what was the project? What was the overlying thing that had to get done? And then what was the result? So in this example, we have the action was we helped design. What did we help design? Well, it was a survey that we had to do. And the result was to determine members' needs. So put it all together. We helped design a survey to determine members' needs. The next one, we designed a trifold flyer to attract students to join the organization. So in both of these, if we sit and we think about it and we do this chart here, PAR statements are so much easier to write. So here's another one. Again, the problem or project is in green, the action is in blue, and the result is yellow. So we're starting here with the action. So we communicated regularly with colleagues, managers, and other departments to manage inventory levels and address discrepancies promptly. That was the project or the problem. And the result was ensuring accurate inventory records. If we take it slowly and we take it one at a time, we can easily do this. The more we practice, the easier it becomes. Too many times, I see students simply listing responsibilities instead of showing the reader the full circle, from problem to action to results. So number 3, use volunteer and extracurricular activities to highlight your skills. So let's say you don't have a lot of work experience. You need then to look to your volunteer and extracurricular activities to show a potential employer what your skills are, what you can do. So on the left, we have someone who doesn't have real work experience, but they do have volunteer and extracurricular activities, and they list it. Just like we list our bullet points for work experience in PAR, we can also try to do the same thing here. For example, the first line, created a successfully functioning club focusing on mental health and psychological research. Not exactly, not really seeing a result, although a successful functioning club. So they created a club. The problem was that a club needed to be formed that was focused on mental health and psychological research, and they were successful by it. We want to, wherever we can, use PAR. So if we can use it even when we're just, or not just, but even when we're using it to show our skills in our extracurricular activity, clubs we belong to, volunteer organizations, we should try and use it. And if not, at least put in what you did. At least use the action portion, right? So communicate it among club members to schedule events and meetings. Design club flyers and handouts to inform students and faculty about the club. This one's really good. So they designed, what did they design? Club flyers. And why? To inform students and faculty about the club. So we can use PAR whether we have work experience or not. And then it's really important whether you have relevant experience or whether you are using extracurricular activities to show your skills, to do a skills summary. Very quick and easy, bullet pointed, short words, 1 or 2 words. It's easy to read. An employer can quickly see what skills you have. And finally, use professional language. Make it visually appealing. It must only be 1 page. Don't sway from this. Until you have over 5 years experience and are applying for a senior level position, you should not have a resume longer than 1 page. Maybe it's running over into a 2nd page. Come see me. We'll figure out how to get it onto 1 page. And most importantly, proof your resume. Seriously, you proof it, then have 2 or 3 other people also prove it. It's that important. I once had a hiring manager that refused to even consider a candidate if she found 1 grammar error on the resume. So you never know who's going to be looking at it. It's really important. It doesn't take much time for someone else to go through and read it, and I highly recommend getting someone else to read it. So many times we don't see our own errors. So here's a quick list of do's and do nots. So do, customize for each job type. That means if you're looking for a bookkeeping job or whether you're looking for a tax preparer job, those should be 2 different resumes. Even better if you can customize it for different job postings, because there you can use the words in each job posting to make your resume sound exactly like the job they've described. Make it pleasing to the eye. It should be easy to read. List your skills. Employers want to know what you can bring to their company. List your education and work experience in reverse chronological order. Any of your experience, whether it is volunteer activity, whether it is true work experience, you should list your most recent first, followed by the rest, going in reverse chronological order. Use PAR wherever you can, problem or project, action and results. Be concise. Have your resume critiqued by a career service professional or an employer. If you know an employer, ask them to look at it. Send it to me. I'm happy to review it for you. Proofread, proofread, proofread. Now the do nots. Do not have grammatical or spelling errors. Do not be unprofessional. Check your email address. Should not be a silly email address. You want that email address when you're looking for a job to be professional. Have it be your name. I know sometimes we have to change it to maybe a date or something, but have it simple, have it professional. Don't include irrelevant information. Don't use paragraphs. Use sentences, use bullet points. Don't leave a large amount of white space. If you don't have a lot of experience, that's okay. I can help you though fill in that white space. Do not use the pronouns I, me, my. We don't speak in that way on our resume. And finally, do not include your personal information, such as your social security number, your age, your sex, your height, your weight, any of that. That is not to be found on a resume. And I didn't list it here, but your references also should not be on your resume. They can be on another sheet of or another page, and they should only be sent when requested. So I hope you have found this helpful, and I'm going to end with showing you 2 examples. The one on the left is a great example of someone without work experience. We looked at part of this already. The one on the right is one with work experience. You can see both are only one page. Both are visually appealing and easy to read. Both have an objective statement. They're calling it a profile, a personal profile. Both have their contact info, which we didn't talk about. It's clear. And both highlight what is most important and what makes them stand out. Remember, your resume is your marketing tool. It is meant to get you in the door for the interview. It's not a documentary of your life. Now, should you have any questions or need any assistance with your resume, Career Services is here to help. The easiest way is to reach out to me via email or schedule an appointment with me via handshake. My name is Kathy Zabo, Career Development Coordinator here at Lake Michigan College. Thanks for listening.